next comic I'm looking at is Criminal #3, written by Ed Brubaker and art by Sean Phillips. This is part 2 of this longest weekend storyline. We're following this guy, Hal Crane, who is like this artist, and he's hooked up with this other guy named Jacob, and we're seeing what the whole deal is with him. So this Jacob, he was this assistant to Hal Crane, and we're getting some backstory of Hal's love of comics. We had this nice scene where they went back in time, and Hal showed Jacob these cutouts from the newspaper, these comic strips that he cut out when he was a little kid, and he would like glue into the scrapbook, and it was sort of like a prized possession for him. Meanwhile, we're jumping to the current day, and Hal wants Jacob's help in sort of planning this heist of this guy's apartment, which Hal believes has this old artwork, comic images that he drew, and Jacob brings one of his skeevy friends into it to sort of help with the robbery. They eventually go into this guy's apartment and rob it, and they tie the guy up that's there. They ask him to open the safe, and they go through this whole ordeal, but they don't end up finding what Hal ended up wanting. They still hasn't found the artwork that he's looking for. Then, once we leave this scene, we're going to this award ceremony, which is the whole reason that this comic artist, this Hal Crane guy, is even in town. And they're at this sort of ceremony where he has to give this speech, and Hal is getting drunk, and Jacob's worried that Hal's going to make a mess of himself. But Hal actually gives a very heartwarming speech, sort of being very appreciative for the award. But then he punches one of the other guys out, which he's been pissed at for years. So Hal does kind of lose it a little bit. And this issue ends with Jacob actually having this artwork Hal was looking for all along, because Hal gave it to him years ago in a drunken stupor and asked Jacob to destroy it, but Jacob never did, and he's had it all this time. So that's where this issue ends, where this Jacob has this artwork that this Hal has been hunting for all these years. And this was a really good issue. I mean, every issue of Criminal is good. This is just a great book, and Ed Brubaker and Sean Phillips, when they come together, they're always masterful and always do a really good job. And this was a fun story. I'm still waiting to get back to where the story we were following in issue 1. I want to circle back to that now and see if we can continue that storyline. But I did enjoy this divergence with this comic artist and their whole storyline. So yeah, I really dug this. I'm going to give this one an 8.5 out of 10. Still a really good time.